At the beginning of the story, we see a girl named Tess who stops her car in front of a very deserted house. Tess had come to this city for work, and to stay here, she had booked this house online through a rental service. Tess carries her luggage to the front door and tries to open it using the password she received from the website she booked the house through. However, even after entering the password, the door doesn't open, as if someone has locked it from the inside. Seeing this, Tess becomes very frustrated. It's already late at night, and on top of that, it's raining heavily. So, Tess goes back to her car and sits inside. She's about to file a complaint with the online rental service when suddenly the lights of the house turn on. Surprised, Tess goes back to the door and rings the doorbell. After a while, a stranger opens the door and asks Tess why she's there in the middle of the night. Tess responds, "Forget about me. Tell me, what are you doing here?" "This is my house, and I booked it through an online rental service." The man is also shocked. He says, "But I also booked this house through a website." To prove it, he shows Tess the booking details on his phone. Seeing this, Tess tells the man, "Okay, this house is yours," and starts to leave disappointed. But then the man stops her and says, "It's the middle of the night, and it's raining heavily outside. You should stay here tonight and leave in the morning." Tess agrees, thinking it makes sense to stay somewhere safe for the night. However, Tess feels that something about the man seems off. When he goes to the bathroom, Tess notices his wallet on the table. She quickly takes out his ID card, revealing his name as Tom, and takes a photo of it as evidence, just in case something goes wrong. After a while, Tom comes out of the bathroom and says to Tess, "I know you don't trust me. I'll sleep on the sofa, and you can take the room." Tess, needing a safe place to sleep, agrees and locks the door of the room carefully before going to sleep. Later, Tess wakes up to a strange noise and sees that her door, which she had locked properly, is now open. She hears eerie sounds from outside. Nervously, she steps out and notices that the basement door is closed by itself. Slowly, she approaches Tom, who is tossing and turning on the sofa as if having a nightmare. Tess wakes him and asks if he opened her door, but Tom replies that he was asleep. Tess returns to her room, locks the door carefully, and goes back to sleep. The next morning, Tess wakes up to find Tom gone, but he has left a note saying he's gone out for some work and will return by evening. Tess gets ready for her interview. Stepping outside, she is shocked to see that the entire area is deserted, with broken-down houses. It seems like no one else lives there except her. Even though Tess finds it strange, she doesn't dwell on it, as she is running late for her interview. At the company, her interview goes very well, and the director is extremely impressed with Tess. After the interview, the director asks Tess where she is staying in the city. When Tess mentions she lives in a house in the Barbary Street area, the director is shocked and says, "That place is extremely unsafe. You should leave immediately." Hearing this, Tess feels scared too. When she returns home and is about to unlock the door, she suddenly sees a stranger running quickly toward her. Terrified Tess quickly ran inside the house, managing to get the door open before the man could reach her. The man started banging loudly on the door, demanding that Tess come outside. Tess had no idea what was happening. Inside the house, she was extremely frightened and tried to call the police to file a complaint. After a while, Tess saw that the man had finally left. She let out a sigh of relief and went to the bathroom. But when she got there, she realized that the toilet paper had run out. She started searching around the house for more. Then her eyes fell toward the basement. She thought maybe the toilet paper was stored down there. Thinking this, Tess went to the basement and found a box of toilet paper right in front of her. She was about to return with it when suddenly the basement door slammed shut. Tess tried with all her strength to open it, but the door wouldn't budge. She became extremely frustrated, especially since she had left her phone upstairs. Tess realized that no one was going to come help her, so she would have to figure a way out herself. She started looking for a way to escape, and then noticed a window in the basement that let in some light. She tried to open it, but the window could only be opened from the outside. Tess then began searching for a tool to break the glass. While looking, she noticed a rope coming out from inside the wall. Without thinking, she pulled on the rope, and to her surprise, it opened a secret room door. When Tess looked inside, she couldn't see anything because the room was pitch dark. She wanted to find out what was inside, but fear kept her from stepping in. Then an idea came to her mind. She used a large mirror to reflect the light from the basement into the dark room. Now she could see a path inside. Tess nervously started moving along the path and discovered another room. When she opened the door to this room, she saw a dirty bed and an old video camera. The room looked like it had been used to record videos. Then her eyes fell on the wall in front of her. There was a handprint covered in blood. Terrified, Tess ran back, toward the window that provided light to the basement. Outside, she saw Tom. Seeing him, Tess shouted desperately to get his attention. Luckily, Tom noticed her and came over. He saw that Tess was trapped in the basement, rushed inside, and opened the basement door, helping her get out. Tess was extremely scared and was about to pack her things and leave the house immediately. But Tom stopped her and asked, "What exactly happened?" Tess then explained to him about the secret room in the basement, the bed, and the camera, saying that the place was extremely unsafe and that they needed to leave immediately. But even seeing Tess so terrified, Tom didn't completely believe her. He said, "I'll go down to the basement first and check everything myself. If there's truly any danger, we'll leave right away. Until then, stay here and wait for me, because if we both go down and the basement door closes again, we could be trapped there forever." With that, he started heading straight toward the basement. Tess tried to stop him, but Tom ignored her and went inside. Now Tess waited anxiously. After a long time, when he didn't return, she approached the basement and started calling for him. There was no response. Finally, mustering all her courage, Tess decided to go down into the basement herself. Before entering, she placed a chair in front of the basement door so it wouldn't lock again. She turned on her phone's flashlight and slowly began moving forward, searching for Tom. But he was nowhere to be seen. She reached the room where the bed and camera were, but Tom still wasn't there. Now Tess was worried, wondering where he had suddenly disappeared to. She continued searching further and, after a short distance, noticed some stairs leading down. Then she heard Tom's voice calling for help from below. Terrified, she didn't want to go, but Tom's repeated cries forced her to ascend. Crossing the stairs, she discovered a second basement, another level beneath the first. Tess continued calling for Tom, moving further in, when suddenly he came crawling toward her like an animal, clearly terrified. He whispered urgently, "Don't make any noise. There's someone else here besides us who wants to kill me, and they've bitten me." Just as they were about to escape, a tall woman suddenly ran in, grabbed Tom, and slammed his head violently against the wall, attacking him mercilessly. The scene then shifts to 2 weeks later, showing the house's owner, AJ. AJ is a TV actor by profession, but his life has been in shambles ever since a co-actress accused him of wrongdoing during a film. His career was ruined, and he spent all his money trying to prove his innocence in court. Now the only property he has left is this house on Barbary Street, and he plans to sell it. Upon entering the house, he notices belongings scattered around, Tess and Tom's things, and even sees Tess's car outside. Suspecting someone had been secretly living in his house, AJ begins searching the house. He finds no one at first, but then notices the chair in front of the basement door, the same chair Tess had placed to prevent it from locking. This confirms to AJ that someone is hiding in the basement. He approaches the basement, hears footsteps below, and takes a flashlight and knife with him, prepared to defend himself if necessary. Inside the basement, he notices the secret room with the bed and camera, and starts exploring further. He even reaches the stairs, and instead of being scared, feels happy because he thinks the basement's extra space will increase the house's value. He takes a measuring tape and begins measuring, eventually reaching a room where a TV show is playing, showing a mother breastfeeding her child. As AJ watches, suddenly the tape is pulled from his hands. Pa. Nicked. He shines his flashlight toward the source, but no one is there. Then he hears a growling sound, and moments later, the tall, strange-looking woman approaches him. Terrified, AJ runs but falls into a pit. The woman closes a grate from above, trapping AJ inside. Confused and frightened, AJ doesn't understand what's happening, until a girl appears before him. It's none other than Tess, who has been trapped in the pit for the past 2 weeks. AJ is terrified, but Tess calms him down, saying, "Don't make any noise, or the woman will get angry. If you want to stay alive, you'll have to do exactly as she says, or she'll kill you." After a while, the woman appears and lowers a bottle of milk toward Tess. Without thinking, Tess drinks from it like a small child. Then the woman extends the bottle toward AJ, but he refuses to drink. Tess urges him, "Don't resist, just drink the milk quietly." She explains that the woman simply wants them to behave like children. But AJ still refuses, which angers the woman. She then descends into the pit herself. First, the woman hugs Tess gently, as if she were a good little child showing her affection. Then she turns angrily toward AJ. She drags AJ with her into the same room where the TV was showing the program about a mother breastfeeding her child. The woman forces AJ to mimic the act, making him participate in the same way. Meanwhile, when the woman was dragging AJ into the room, she hadn't closed the pit's entrance. Taking advantage of this, Tess sneaks out of the pit and starts running away. But accidentally, her foot hits the measuring tape, making a noise that the woman hears. Realizing that Tess is trying to escape, the woman leaves AJ behind and starts chasing Tess. Tess sprints toward the basement door at the top. However, the door is locked. She struggles with all her strength, and when it doesn't open, she breaks the basement window glass and attempts to climb out. By this time, the woman is very close to Tess, but just before the woman can catch her, a man appears from outside and pulls Tess to safety. If he had been even a second late, Tess's life would have been in danger, as the woman was right behind her. The man who saved Tess was none other than the same man who had initially stopped her from entering the house. Tess explains to him that a terrifying woman lives inside the house the man already knows about her. He warns Tess to leave the city as soon as possible, otherwise the woman will find her and keep her captive for life. Tess protests, saying there's another man trapped inside who needs her help. The man replies, "Be grateful that your life was saved. Listen to me. Leave this place as fast as possible. Once night falls, the woman will search for you. If you linger in this area, she'll catch you and keep you imprisoned forever." He adds, "My job was only to warn you. Whether you survive or not is up to you." Tess wants to leave, but her kind heart won't allow her to leave AJ alone with the woman, so she sets out to find a way to help him. Meanwhile, AJ also tries to escape, but then he hears the woman growling, which terrifies him. He begins moving deeper into a tunnel to hide, with the woman pursuing him. AJ reaches a dead end and finds the woman standing right in front of him. He thinks his death is certain, but suddenly, for some unknown reason, the woman seems afraid to come closer. She leaves AJ behind and silently retreats. AJ, confused, notices a door behind her. He cautiously goes inside to see why the woman seems afraid of this room. The room is in terrible condition, with belongings scattered everywhere. A TV is still running. As AJ inspects the room, he hears a noise behind him. Terrified, he turns around and shines his flashlight to see an old man, lying on a bed, looking extremely sick, barely able to move or speak. AJ assumes the woman has imprisoned him as well, and decides to help. The old man keeps pointing to a drawer. AJ brings the drawer closer and finds a stack of recorded tapes, each labeled with a woman's name. When AJ plays one, he is horrified. The tape shows the same old man committing a crime with a woman. AJ's eyes widen in shock. He turns to look at the old man, only to see him pulling a gun from the drawer. AJ thinks he's about to be shot, but in the next moment the old man shoots himself. Meanwhile, Tess arrives outside the house with police officers and explains everything about what's been happening inside. But the police didn't believe Tess because of her disheveled clothes and her appearance. They assumed she had been using drugs. Ignoring her, they left, which made Tess even more frustrated. She realized she would have to take matters into her own hands. Night was approaching, so she acted wisely and sat in her car, knowing that the woman would come looking for her once it got dark. Sure enough, as night fell, the woman stepped outside to search for Tess. Before the woman could spot her in the car, Tess quickly started the engine and sped forward, hitting the woman with the car and pinning her against the wall. Trapped, the woman couldn't move forward or backward, and within moments, she lost consciousness. Taking advantage of the situation, Tess rushed into the basement to find AJ. Meanwhile, AJ grabbed the gun that the old man had used to shoot himself and tried to escape. Due to the darkness, he couldn't see anything, and suddenly someone approached him. Terrified, AJ fired, and it turned out to be Tess. Luckily, the bullet grazed her stomach, leaving her unharmed. AJ helped Tess and got her out of the house. Outside, Tess saw that the woman she had pinned with the car was gone. Their car had also been damaged, so they couldn't escape by driving and had to run on foot. A short distance away, they met the stranger who had silently signaled them to come closer. He led them to a water tank, explaining that the woman couldn't reach them there, AJ asked who the woman was and why she was in his house. The man explained that she had been living in the house for 40 years and that the house originally belonged to her father. AJ protested, claiming the house was his. The man replied that according to official papers, AJ bought it a few years ago, but the first owner was a man named Frank, and the woman was Frank's daughter. Frank had been cruel, capturing women and locking them in the basement, abusing them and forcing them to bear children. Sons were killed, daughters were raised in captivity, and even his own daughter suffered abuse. Most of Frank's children were weak, so many daughters died. But the woman was still alive, serving as a living punishment for Frank's sins. The man explained that after 40 years in darkness, the woman could no longer tolerate light, which is why she came out at night. He warned that she wouldn't kill them as long as they treated her like her children, but she would keep them captive forever. AJ realized that the old man who shot himself in the tunnel had been Frank. Suddenly, the woman broke through a wall, grabbed the man by the neck, and brutally killed him. Terrified, AJ ran, leaving Tess behind, injured. Tess, also hurt, chased after him, constantly calling for help. AJ ignored her and climbed onto the water tank. Tess struggled but managed to reach the top. The woman followed closely. AJ pulled out his gun to shoot her, but it slipped from his hand and fell. Soon the woman climbed onto the tank as well. AJ realized that the woman viewed him and Tess as her children and intended to keep them tiv forever. He couldn't spend his life trapped in that dark basement. Using the woman's maternal instinct, AJ grabbed Tess and pushed her off the tank to safety. The woman, seeing Tess as her daughter, jumped after her to catch her, risking her own life to ensure Tess wasn't hurt during the fall. AJ climbed down and saw both of them lying on the ground, covered in blood and motionless. He thought they were dead, but then Tess regained consciousness. She realized that the woman had sacrificed her own safety to save her. AJ helped Tess up, feeling justified, thinking that if he hadn't acted, they both would have died. Tess understood that no matter how good AJ tried to be, he might leave someone else to die to save himself. Then the woman got up, grabbed AJ, and choked him in anger because he had thrown her daughter Tess off the tank. She then gouged out AJ's eyes and split his head in two. Afterward, she looked at Tess with a motherly, sorrowful expression and showed her love. But Tess was still terrified. Understanding this, the woman gestured to Tess, implying, "End my life." Tess didn't want to do it, but the woman insisted. Reluctantly, Tess shot her, finally freeing her from that horrifying life. And with that, the story ends.